Stereo Extremeness. What a crazy ever journey. This level, in a period of around 6 months, from early June is when I found my first records, to all the way to New Year's Day. It's just crazy how I went from barely playing it to playing it a lot, to eventually fluking the last 2 days and getting really good, and then just beating it. This video will go over the entire journey. Mainly, we'll go over the checkpoint videos, and we'll basically talk over them, explain parts, and then showcase the new clips. And then, yeah, so it will be very interesting to see how it journeyed over time and like what's been going on during these clips. So, yep, let's go. So this was the checkpoint 1, which was released on let me remember. It was released on July 2nd. So this was like the first month of playing the level, but it wasn't playing it that much. This video is 9 minutes long. Probably won't go over the entire thing. But basically, yeah, there's a lot of grinding with it. 18%, because 20% was the really hard lock at the time. But the entire beginning was really hard, and it was still really hard. But I had some good runs, like 76 to 100, which I was at a point, and it took about 4,000 attempts to get 70 to 100, and then more, which I will discuss later. So even though I don't even list 70 to 100 here, but it says I was trying to do 55 to 100, but I'm pretty sure I did 70 to 100 before doing it. But that's probably listed in the next checkpoint, so I'm not going to go too deep on it. And then I showcase some of the percentages. Yeah, a lot of death in the first two spikes. That was mainly the beginning of the journey. Dying a lot in those first 2% because I was not good at those beginning spikes. And then around that same time period, we also had, like, summer was ending. Not in June, July, but like I had Summer Academy and stuff like that. And then AP scores came out the day after that checkpoint released, July 3rd. So that was also something to worry about. But yeah, really interesting checkpoint. There was a lot of stuff like I wasn't playing it severely, but I was definitely getting into it slowly, becoming more and more like, oh, this level. And I think it's really checkpoint 3, checkpoint 4, which is where I really jumped up because I didn't really play that much before it. But so yeah, it was very interesting. So this was checkpoint 2, which was released on the same day this video was released, which is a video that I believe I revealed I was going deep into Stereo Extremeness. Yeah, it was right there. And I was also releasing some other stuff like Bonanza. So yeah, I had Bonanza around the time that the checkpoint came out. Celeste Sides I played. And a few other things. But yeah, so back to the checkpoint. The checkpoint seemed to be around. The checkpoint was only a minute and a half, and I think it was mainly me just like practicing it more. It says I beat it in 4 runs. So I was trying to get 0 to 28 for a while because I wanted to get to the first drop, and I got it pretty quickly. But it was mainly just a grind of getting past 20 because 20 was the hardest part. And then so I had 0 to 30 that died pretty quickly. I got 70 to 100 eventually, and it was mainly just getting the middle down. This I jumped up in attempts. I jumped up to 17,000, which was a 10,000 attempt jump. That right there too. That wave right there, you're gonna hear about that wave a lot. 20% a lot because those two was some parts that I just hated the most. A month to beat this. Okay, I'm laughing at that. A month. Yeah, this was what, July. July, and it's January. January. So that was totally crazy. So yeah, this was just like a clip of me playing it, but I put together all the 4 clips. That's why I was only a minute and a half, because it's basically just a level. Basically, it was heavy grinding. There's nothing really special about Checkpoint 2. It's just grinding. There was nothing really going on. I was just slightly playing it. So between Checkpoint 2 and Checkpoint 3, a lot of different things happened. First, I was making some fun levels such as Pete the Dev Trials and a few other things. Second, I was playing Roblox again, and I was playing, for example, I made my Space Route Return video. And I also went and started doing my 100 Extreme Demon grind. I wanted to make sure Stereo Extremeness was my 100th demon. So therefore, I grinded levels such as Forest Temple and Double Dash. And my 99th demon was Double Dash. No, it was Forest Temple. 98th was Double Dash. The same day this video was posted was also Yarhan Inferno No Hit, which was something I'd also been working on for a while, but it was not even close to as hard as Stereo Extremeness. This was released in September. So at that point, I was already in college, getting used to college, and basically, wasn't that open. So about the video was, there's only like 2 parts of this. First was the Curse of 78 Microclick. This was the last checkpoint I played on mouse, and then I got a save for checkpoint 4. And so basically I could not micro click on the mouse, so I kept dying at 78 over and over. I did there I think 15 times before I got past it. 78 was one of those spots that I was like, I hate this. And I thought it was gonna be the hardest click in the level. I was wrong about that because I click it a lot easier. But yes, 15 deaths there. Trying to get 55 to 100. And I think 55 to 100 took me about 4,000 attempts, just like 70 to 100 did. Even though now, towards the end, I can do it in 4 attempts, if I'm lucky. It really just depends. And then, so I got 55 to 100, and then basically that was it for the most part. Because I didn't really grind too heavy. A lot of the stuff was basically just repetition. It took me like multiple days. I wasn't playing that hard with college. And so there wasn't nothing special going around. It wasn't really till checkpoint 4 that I really started heavy grinding. It's like if I look at my clip folder, I only have like 2 clips for 3, but 4 I have 10. So it's gonna really pick up 4, 5, 6, and 7. But and don't make that joke. And then I also started making these tiny little clips too as well. For example, I had Stereo Extremeness 6.3.5 Mental Death, which was me right before 4, and basically it was me trying to get 0 to something. I think it was trying to get a new PB, because I thought I could actually beat it now that I got 55 to 100. That is wrong. And so I was like mentally dying at that point. I think I slowed down until I picked it up recently. Checkpoint 4. So starting with this, because they're getting longer, I'm just gonna basically watch over the video, and then basically I'm gonna play the full checkpoint, and then basically talk about what's been happening while I'm playing it. So checkpoint 4 was around, let's see, November 17th. This is right after I started. This was like a big jump. What was it? September to November. Between them, I started randomly playing Yatagarasu, Sonic Wave, Vehemence, and basically a few other things. But it was getting to the point because, so before I made this, I wanted to get some stuff down, but because of just the jump from going from Forest Temple to Stereo Extremeness, I just could not. And so I was like, I just gotta get this out. I have enough clips. So I literally said in the description, checkpoint 5 will be my final checkpoint once I get that far. After that, just new videos and new PBs. I don't think about that as 7 checkpoints. So yeah, we're slowly grinding about that. And then, yeah. Okay, so going back into this, basically it was just a grind. I didn't know how long this level would take. I knew it was going to take a lot longer than I really thought. Which is annoying because I was, having to deal with schoolwork, having to do a lot of things. This is a list of what I had at this point. Yeah. 42 is my PB. There's a lot of stuff happening. Like the reach rate, yeah. It's just a skyrocket down. Now it's been a lot better, but like 20% and like 1% to 28, yeah, that was like pretty low compared to now. And even though now I spent 20,000 attempts at the beginning, I can just say, yeah. 29,000 attempts. It still said 23 hours, around what I have, even though I have more attempts. But yeah, so I was doing 28 to stuff. I was trying to get, I believe, 28 to 100 at this point, which I did not get until checkpoint 7 because I decided to take a break and grind from 0 a lot. That was not a good idea. But so the few things I'll talk about while we're here. 48. I wanted to destroy 48. So 48 was this click for the first coin where he had to do this tight little wave section. It was just so hard. I don't understand. I cannot do it consistently, and I got to this point in checkpoint 6, where I did the wave 10 times in a row. I found out that it was more consistent on that wave when I did a double click. So I clicked both my first key and my second key, even though my second key has a different calibration on it. If I click them both at the same time, it made it a lot more consistent, but it was still like a 50-50, but I just went with it. There was times I really just wanted to not do the coin, but I pushed through it because I started to get more consistent at it. This clip was funny. So I decided I was just going to do a no clip run. There was a little cut there because showing that I got far and then I got there. But basically, I don't know why. This was in my other copy. That's why. Basically, I was just like, okay, I'll do a no clip run. See how good I do. And then this happens. So I get to ship, and then I literally get to here, and I die there. And I'm like, okay, wow. And this is another attempt from 0. So I started to get more consistent. I was getting finally to ship a decent amount of time. Ship was one of the hard points. I thought ship was going to take me so long, even though the ship actually became pretty consistent as I went along. I had a death there because that was actually a hard click. That click, I don't know why. I kept dying to that click. Even recently, I've been dying to that click. It's just a weird click. Okay, I don't normally die like that anymore. But I was just excited to slowly be getting new PBs, but as you'll see in the later checkpoints, it didn't go the same way, and some changes had to be made. But it was just slowly grinding new PBs as I went along. And I believe in this checkpoint, the farthest I got was, 42 in this clip. My ship is so wobbly. Yeah, 42. I was like so happy about it because I'm like, oh, finally a new PB. And I thought I was getting closer and closer. But then I really didn't think about how hard 70 to 100 was at the time. And so while it seemed like it was getting far, which is a nope, so I probably said I was going to get a new PB soon, it was not. But, so yeah, it was definitely a grind. Oh yeah, and also my HDMI port decided to die during this time, so I had to swap to using a converter, which would only give me 144 frames. So I used click on steps to get 240, but then in the next checkpoint, I finally got my new desktop, so I was using 280 now. This level is insane. Like, this is not SE, but so literally I've been struggling so hard with Stereo Extremeness. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing with that level anymore. Because, like, basically, so I've been grinding from 0 because I didn't want to grind from, like, 28 or 18. And I think that's been messing with me because literally I keep dying so hard at every, like, the 20% and the 40%, I'm struggling so hard. So before making this video, I wanted to get, I don't know, like, 55 was my goal because that'd get me down to 2 runs. I just couldn't do it before making this video. I have so many clips. I'm like, I need to put the video. I'll make a checkpoint 6 when I get to it. So like, I'm deciding now that I'm gonna actually have to practice because I just can't deal with this anymore. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna practice from 18, which I just before putting out this video, which will be at the very end of this clip. I got 1865 pretty quickly. So I don't know what I'm gonna go to, but I'm gonna practice it a lot. Maybe 1800, 2900. I don't know. I just need to practice hard because I need to stop dying in 20s and stop dying in 40s. I've literally died at every 40. Like, so I've died at 40s more than 30s, I think. That's probably not true. But I've died, I don't know, I've died this so much. I've even been playing this level. I mean, I'm talking right now, so I'm not really focused. But, I've been playing Yada for fun in no clip. But, yeah, and then I had to deal with finals, so I wasn't able to play for a while. But luckily they're over and I got decent grades. I'm gonna have like a 3.7 GPA or something like that, I don't know. 3.6, 3.7. They haven't put in my final class, but I already know what the grade is. But, yeah. It's just been a struggle playing SC. But, we'll get it done eventually. I'm at 55,000 attempts. Problem is I was playing on multiple devices, so I was having struggles with attempts because now I'm on my new desktop. As you can see, my FPS. So, yeah. It's been a struggle. So yeah, basically I was like really so like I had just finished finals and I got grades in them. I was able to lock in while also still remembering how to play SE, but I was just struggling from the beginning and I couldn't get anywhere. My original goal was to get 55, but like for a while I wanted to get 55, maybe even in checkpoint 4, but I just really couldn't get to 55. I kept randomly dying mainly in the 40s. And then 20s. So why don't we talk about the 20s while we're already here about 20s? The 20s I will nominate as the hardest part of the level. I don't know what it is, but that specific spike at 20, there's 2 frame perfect in a row. That spike, it's just hell. I could never do it consistently no matter how much I practiced it, and I never got better or better or better at it. It was just horrible. And then that staircase right there, that black hole staircase. I found out later. I don't know if it was in this one or the next one that I can actually hold on 2 and 3 to make it a lot easier. Because I think instead of doing what I'm supposed to do, I actually just jump off the side of the pads instead of actually touching the pads, which is very interesting. But so right after checkpoint 4, I believe was the run I got 44. It was after 5 or after 6. I'm pretty sure it was after 4. Yeah, it was after 4 because then I had 44, which is shown in a minute. But yeah, I had 42 twice. 40, 39. It was just like everything. I think it was this. No, yeah, it was this one. No, that was me raging. But so yeah, 44 was a good PB to get, but I never knew how many times I would just die at 44. I died at 44, I think, like 5 to 6 times before eventually getting 48, which is somewhere I thought I was going to die to a lot more than I actually did, because later I get 51 and 52 pretty quickly. But my decision to start practicing in checkpoint 6 was actually one of the best decisions I could make, because I didn't know how inconsistent I was at 70 to 100. 70 and 84 are 2 of what I would say are the hardest parts of the level, other than 20s, because you have a really, really tight robot, and then you have a mini ship, and when I'm doing the coin, it's just so hard. And I thought it was going to be one of those parts of the level that, like, I couldn't get consistent on, it was just going to be luck. And then I just practiced it, and it started to get more and more consistent, which I will talk about in checkpoint 7. But yeah, see, I got 44, so like I was like happy. I'm like, finally a new PB. And then I didn't really make any progress after that. 18,000 attempts there, and I'm up to now like what 22, 24,000. I had a 208 sessions, and I believe I had either 225, 255. It was just a grind. I'm so happy it's over. But so this was put out on December 22nd. So this was right after the Goodbye 2025, after Helmet Adventures. Oh yeah, the icon colors are OP, so I changed my icons. What color am I using in this one? I'm using purple, which is not the one I finished with. I finished with green, white. So I kept changing my icon colors, and I'm like, I'm getting good at it. And then in checkpoint 6, I changed them to green because I couldn't, because I wanted the most perfect icon colors. So that's why I did that. But yeah, lots of stuff. And then I started practicing towards checkpoint 6. This is my message to my master. This is a fight. I love that spike. Yep. Yep. I was losing my mind. So this is where I mentioned I was doing the wave 10 times in a row. So I started doing my double clicking to get more consistent. But I think this was like one of my least favorite parts of the level because of how inconsistent I felt at it. I often just went way too low. I don't know why. And it just was not like a good part of the level because of how many times I died there from 0, 29, or just even really further. So there's a lot that just happened with that part, but I did eventually do it. Then I just started raging. I don't even remember, what did I do? Oh yeah, that's why I just started doing stuff. Because I just kept dying in the 70s, no matter what. It was always 70s, 80s. And then, yeah, I was raging at the ship, like, one of the most high places I was raging was at 80. And then I beat it there, but very much raging. And then, in 1223, I did 5 out of 10 ship consistency. Which I'm actually surprised I did. Then I wanted to slowly practice backwards, so then I decided to do 70 to 100 3 times in a row, which was a pretty good decision because it helped me practice 70 to 100 to get more consistent at it. And basically, just to go more in depth about 70 to 100, the ship hardest parts was going upwards, and then this straight fly right here, so hard. And then you have to like click early on some of those clicks, and it just made it like not consistent, and then randomly, like, 1, I'd just fail my straight fly, 2, I'd randomly just miss a spike, and then hit it, and 3, the last 2 clicks, I thought I was going to die at 2, because when I was doing 29 to 100, which was slowly starting around here, then yeah. So, talk about the last week. December 24th. This was a lock-in day. I thought it was my best day I would ever have at SE. First, I locked in by getting 29 to 82. From my original record, 29 to 78 twice. I died right here. I was like, okay, I'll take that. That's farther. I'm getting closer to 29 to 100. Then once I get 2900, I can beat it. And then after that, so yeah, I had 77 and 82. Then after that, I went from 0, and so what I said was, I told myself, I said, 1 ship attempt. I was like, I'll just do 1 ship attempt for fun. And you'll see here exactly what happened. Oh my god. My god! That was so quick! What? That was so quick. I'm not even shocked because I was. So yeah, I did not expect that to happen at all, and so it was insane because I was like one ship attempt, and then I just easily do the ship. That showed I was slowly getting more and more consistent at the ship, which was one of the choke points. And then this was the big one, 28 to 93. So I was like, okay, I'll just do more 28 runs. And then I locked in. I passed 82. I'm like, this could be it. This could go to 100. I go up, do the straight fly, which is the hardest part, go onto the corridor, do the hard spikes, and die stupid. I was happy, but annoyed. So then the next day, I didn't have much time because it was Christmas. 28 to 90. Just a casual run. Die on the ship. I thought I was going to die on the ship a lot more than I really did. And then, so this is like when I really started heavy grinding, because I wasn't grinding too hard before, but yeah, straight fly death. Yeah, straight fly death. And then I did another ship attempt run, and I got 51. So I could tell I was getting really good at 28 to 50, and then I was also getting good at anything later than that. I was finally getting good at 48, which was making me happy. And then it's basically just slow grinding after that. And then finally, this clip's fun. I'll let you hear it. Yeah, I started slamming stuff. But it's showing that I was slowly getting better enough to get consistent. And then as a bonus, I did blast processing at 2 times speed. But, well, this will all lead into the final checkpoint. Now I'm going to let y'all see it without me talking. Basically, in the final checkpoint, I started grinding, and then basically I was trying to do consistencies, and so I was slowly going, like, I started 85 to 100 with a 8 out of 20 consistency, etc. Slowly going backwards and backwards to get to 29 to 100, and then on 12/31, I locked in, and on January 1st, locked in. I just was slowly doing it, and it helped me more and more, and it eventually did work. I eventually beat it. So here you go. And also, I will say before I go, 20%. I hate you. So for nominations, hardest part of the level, 20%. Most annoying, like 1%, 48. Part that was really bad and then got consistent, 70. Most fun part might be 55 to 70. It's probably the easiest part too. Yeah. So here we go. That's not to the wall. The wall. I will take my progress against it. I don't think I'll get this enough to get 8 but I can get this enough to get 1 5. This is like I'll keep it. That counts. That's like 35 right there. 7. 48. 48. 5 and 9. I'm doing half. 7. No. Ow. I think I got this enough. 2, 2, 3. Two, two. I can hit 2 out of 10. Oh my god. That was so quick. What? What? Oh my god. What? Stop. Oh my god. It's happening. It's gonna happen. I could beat it. What? Why? What? 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 18. Now, before I show the final clip, let me just say this was a wild journey. Jumping from Forest Temple, which is a tier 14, to Stereo Extremeness, which is a tier 28, is crazy. 65,662 attempts, I believe, was my final attempt count. And that's combining my two different versions of the map, which was crazy. Fluking it from 77. I don't know what has happened in the last 2 days, but I just became really, really good at the level. And I'm really happy I did that. So, I don't have to deal with the level anymore. Great New Year's Day. And now I get to go back to Limbo. I'm just kidding. But yeah, remember I spent like 50,000 attempts on Limbo? Yeah, no. Probably gonna just be casual, play some other games, play some other levels, and then eventually I'll go for Yatagarasu as a new hardest. But here you go. My God. I did. over. It's over. It's over. I've looked at. It's over. Yeah, I was a little breathing hard. I wasn't like screaming or anything because I wasn't alone, but yeah, a lot of breathing hard and just was very shocked because it was like really random because I expected to die at like 92 or 93 or basically anywhere in the ship, but I didn't. But it was a great journey, and 40 minutes in, amazing, and GG.